Hello and welcome everyone. Today I'll be looking to get a moose from a ground blind. This one will prove to be a bit of a challenge, but I have a few tricks up my sleeve to get the job done. For Beatty number 8, I'll have to harvest a moose down from a ground blind at night. These types of missions can be a challenge sometimes, especially for vanilla players. The first restriction is the map. It isn't outlined in the description, but the harvest will need to be made within the highlighted area along the Highton River. I've already scouted a good deal of it and have discovered a single in-game blind at the southern end. I haven't scouted after dark very much, however, so I'll need to do so before I set up for the hunt. The other restriction for this mission is that it needs to be done at night, so that means the harvest will need to be made between the hours of 19 and 5. Moose are the biggest animal on the map, and I love to find a big one. They're good at smelling and hearing, so I'll have to keep an eye on the wind and my noise. Visibility, however, isn't quite as good, and, as you'll soon see, I will use that to my advantage. Since I'll be stationary in a blind, unlocking and purchasing the moose collar will likely come in handy. Like other missions of this kind, the DLC ground blind will qualify for the objective. Finding a nighttime zone and setting one up next to it would likely be the easiest way to go about it. My example will be a little more geared toward the vanilla players, but the basic concept for both strategies are the same. Scout the area for nighttime need zones, set up a blind, and make the harvest. So I set out to scout around the vanilla blind from the Willowpeg Southern Outpost just after midnight. If there are any need zones for moose, I should be able to catch clues for both rest times. My plan was to get to roughly 150 meters from the blind, then circle around it, looking for zones, tracks, and calls. I found a nice level 3 on the way. Unfortunately, he was almost 350 meters away from the blind and too far for me to call in. After a short game of Ring Around the Rosie, I resumed my hike. I found some animals, but no moose in the immediate area. I paused to spot something in the woods, who then called to me. A small level 1 female. I ran up to find her zone. She was also a little too far away to call into the blind, so I resumed my search. Unfortunately, though, I came up empty-handed. To restrict the mission even more, the eastern shore is technically outside of the moose home range as well. So if they aren't west of the blind, they aren't there. This puts me in a pickle. I only found 2 zones and both are out of sight. In order to get one from the blind, I'll need to coax one in with a moose collar, which I hadn't unlocked yet. So the mission had to be put on the back burner until I reached level 35. As soon as I did, I headed back over to set up. I wanted to make sure the DLC blind would qualify for the mission as well, so I wanted to hunt out of it. For the sake of my vanilla players, though, I wanted to hunt near the in-game one, so I chose to set up next to it. I then grabbed a tent for a spawn point and set it up in the woods to the east at about 250 meters away. I decided to go after the female. She may not be the flashiest of the 2 options, but she is the closest to the blind and the most susceptible to calling. I set the time to midnight and headed out. Things were pretty quiet at the blind, as I thought they would be. I gave her a little bit of time to get to her zone, but didn't see her come in. With no visuals to go by, I hopped out to take a closer look. The moose's collar range is 200 meters, and her zone is about 240 away. My plan was to cut the distance in half, call her toward me, and then coax her back to the blind. couldn't see her anywhere around the zone, but hoped that she was hiding in the brush. The wind was fairly poor, so I put on some scent eliminator and then began to call her in. And with one call, I got results. Perfect. I slowly crouch-walked my way back toward the blind. And there she is. I moved low and slow and used her poor eyesight to my advantage. I occasionally called to keep her coming my way as I anxiously crawled my way back through the grass. Almost there. And I'm in. I tried to line up a shot, but she lost interest and started to move away. I switched back and used the caller once again. And she took the bait. Alright, let's go chase her down. I found her just out of sight in the brush. No score for her, but that's okay. It was enough of a struggle to coax in a level 1, let alone a higher, more cautious animal like that level 3 bull. I got her on the right lung and in line with the heart at 96 meters. With the harvest made from a ground blind at night, she will complete the mission for me. She wasn't a monster, but that's okay. Being restricted by the map and a ground blind is enough of a challenge for me, so I'm just happy to have completed the mission. If this video was helpful or you learned something along the way, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll be adding more of these guides as I go along with my progression, so be sure to check in for more Call the Wild content. Thanks for watching.